Broad Street Ministry encourages people to move.
Many people think homelessness is caused by personal fault.
Our experience in Philadelphia tells us otherwise.
Various factors contribute to homelessness.
Let us explain.
Broad Street Ministry came in handy when I couldn't get a break. Before I was experiencing homelessness, I was an environmental engineer making $90K. I even had a condo for downtime. I had just gotten married and my marriage wasn't going well, but I had to stick it out with my wife when she got pregnant. Unfortunately, I was working for a crooked company and got caught up in falsifications and fraud. My only options were to participate in the fraud or lose my job. Eventually, we all lost our jobs. Around this time, my marriage was totally depleted and I filed for a divorce. Unfortunately, my wife found a clause in our marriage agreement and was able to take everything. I went into deep depression, which led to drinking and eventually a medical decline. Not only did I lose my job, my home, and my money, but my relationship with my son was also deeply affected.
Stories like these are not uncommon. People may experience homelessness due to job loss, substance abuse, depression, low income, mental health issues, and displacement, just to name a few. According to Forbes and MarketWatch, 63% of Americans have no emergency funds and can easily end up in dire circumstances. No matter what your current job status is, a situation can change at any time. Out of the 10 largest cities in the USA, Philadelphia has the highest deep poverty rate of 12.3%. This is almost double the nation's rate of 6.8%. Philadelphia's overall poverty rate is 26% and the unemployment rate is 6.3%. According to the Department of Agriculture, 12.4% of Philadelphians have food insecurity. In the 1970s, about 2 million Philadelphians were living in neighborhoods with concentrated poverty. Now it has increased to 4 million people. High poverty neighborhoods are spreading. These neighborhoods have lost about 40% of their population since the 1970s. However, there are 3 times more neighborhoods with high poverty rates. There is only a 1 in 20 chance for one of these poor neighborhoods to come out of poverty. Living in an income-integrated neighborhood increases the chance that low-income individuals have of moving up the economic ladder. Recent income increases have done very little to help the poverty rate in Philadelphia. Although the median household income increased by 5% in recent years, the poverty rate only decreased by 0.2%. People live so far below the poverty line that the increase in wages doesn't make much of an overall difference.
Broad Street Ministry, also known as BSM, offers its guests a unique experience. The services they provide include breaking bread meals, mail service, personal care, mending, clothing closet, therapeutic arts, and they also partner with other organizations to further meet the needs of their guests. At Broad Street Ministry, they are trauma-informed, meaning they have a deep understanding of the vulnerabilities certain individuals may encounter after having been through a traumatic experience, such as homelessness, domestic violence, and sexual abuse. BSM provides their guests with a supportive environment in order to meet their needs while avoiding anxiety. In BSM, they practice a holistic approach. They exercise radical hospitality, which means they focus on their guest and invite them into their space with their wombs and all. Many of the guests at BSM are constantly waiting in lines to get the services that they need. They are used to scarcity and material insecurity, which puts them in a constant fear of not having the things that they need. This creates a competitive atmosphere. At BSM, they continuously ensure that there is enough for everyone. There will always be enough meals and personal care products to go around, as well as enough time for all subscribers to retrieve their mail.
On day 1, we got off the buses and arrived in Center City, Philadelphia. When we arrived at Broad Street Ministry, we saw many people outside waiting for the various services that they provided. Very shortly after putting our stuff down, we were assigned jobs for the Breaking Bread dinner service. This is where a meal is provided in a welcoming community. Everyone is seated and served. They are seen and treated as guests. At BSM, They are focused on relationships and actually getting to know their guests and not transactions. After the dinner, we cleaned up and then were shown our sleeping arrangements. We slept on small cots in a small, cold room. Even though these sleeping conditions were not as great as we were used to, we felt thankful. We were aware that there are many people who are experiencing homelessness sleeping outside on the steps very nearby.
On day 2, we went to explore the city of Philadelphia. One distinguishing feature were the vast amounts of murals and artwork that varies from depicting the LGBTQ presence in the community to bringing awareness to the homeless epidemic. We were able to explore West Philadelphia, which is currently going through gentrification and displacement. One of the most shocking parts was the clear divide between College City and the rest of West Philadelphia. In College City, the buildings were newer or renovated. There were a lot of restaurants, parks, and other shops. This area was also heavily populated. There were always people walking around or hanging out with some friends. The rest of West Philadelphia is a different story. Within that area, there were many houses that were deteriorating and vacant. The further away we got from the college area, the fewer shops, restaurants, and grocery stores we saw. Once we finished exploring West Philadelphia, we participated in a simulation that allowed us to see just how easy it is to become a victim of an economic crisis. Each of us had different family situations. For example, you could be providing for a single-parent household or a two-parent household, and you would either have 1 or 2 kids. We were also provided with a specific monthly income. We either made living wages, minimum wages, or poverty wages. We were given the task of providing housing, food, healthcare, transportation, children education, higher education, and wildcards. Some of us weren't able to cover all of these costs in the income we had, or we had very little money at the end. However, the simulation does not cover water, electricity, phone service, gas, clothing, family activities, and many other expenses that we experience in our everyday lives. One of the biggest takeaways was how easily stressed many of us got trying to cover a family's basic monthly needs. Later that night, we went to have dinners at Rooster Soup Corporation. This restaurant donates 100% of its profits to Broad Street Ministry.
On day 3, we visited the One Step Away headquarters. One Step Away is Philadelphia's first street newspaper. They focus on giving the city's low-income and homeless population a voice. The monthly newspaper publishes the personal stories, poems, and artwork of people experiencing homelessness. One Step Away also provides people with a chance to earn an income by distributing the paper to the local community. For every newspaper sold, vendors earn 75% of the sales. The other 25% goes towards the publishing costs of the newspaper. We had the chance to job shadow some of the One Step Away vendors for a couple of hours. On the city corners, we experienced how it felt to sell the newspaper to the community. A lot of us were shocked to see how hard it was to get people to stop and buy the paper. We often felt invisible and frustrated. Many of the customers we had were monthly supporters of One Step Away. Customers would stop and talk to us. Some of them shared positive stories about the newspaper. We could have found them selling newspaper all year around. We now know the significance that this newspaper has on the community. Sadly, we are all one step away from experiencing homelessness.
But our hard work doesn't stop here. Throughout our time spent with Broad Street Ministry, we have learned some valuable lessons, and we would like to bring them here to Baruch College in New York City. Stereotypes about homelessness and the people experiencing it are usually never true. Many people associate homelessness with laziness and personal fault, or believe that people experiencing homelessness only want money. We need to be better educated and understanding in order to realize that homelessness is caused by many factors that are typically out of our control. Acknowledgement and compassion are two of the many things that people experiencing homelessness rarely receive. A lot of the time, a little company and conversation is all they really need. One of the first things we can do is participate in local communities that help people experiencing homelessness while bringing Broad Street's Ministries principles with us. Additionally, a club could be created at Baruch that focuses on the issues that people experiencing homelessness in New York City face daily. We should all do our part in relieving the burden people facing homelessness carry each day.